Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
We are here and we are on time. However, our partner Brent Perry is not on time, so he may walk through sometime during this live because he's got some questions to answer too.
Because Vancouver and Vancouver traffic, he is stuck somewhere out there.
We hope everybody's doing great. We had a wonderful last 5 days at Vancouver Boat Show. It was busy. We met so many of you. It was absolutely fun. Like it was awesome.
Nice. Loved it. Loved meeting you guys.
And how was your talk yesterday? The talk.
Seeing as it was my very first live in front of people, I think it went pretty well. There's always room for improvement, but
we had a lot of fun. And I did put the talk up on YouTube, but I put it up as an unlisted. It won't be launching publicly on YouTube. However, what's going to be kind of cool about it is everybody can watch it because I did put out the link publicly and it is up here earlier in the show notes or in the comments. How this live is going to go. Okay, Janice is going to speak properly. Hi, Tillman. Hi, Burdette. Hi, RV Sparky. Hi, Liam. Hi, everybody. We can see your comments. Thank you so much. And we learned how to put them up on screen. Hi, Crooker4163. How this live is going to go is we've got some questions we're going to talk about since we've made this announcement. I have written down 3 numbers already right here, and we're going to give out 3, not seeing live on YouTube.
Uh-oh.
It is there. Anybody else not see it on live on YouTube? Are you guys watching on YouTube? I think some people are. Sorry. Anyways, I've got 3 numbers written on this piece of paper already. And this is going to be our contest. And how we run the contest is these 3 numbers are the order of comments. So I've written down the 3 numbers of what number of comment that comes through. So please comment and interact. We love it. And we're going to give out 3 6-month memberships to our online crew who are going to get the inside scoop on everything. A lot of the tech videos and stuff that Blaine's going to write are going to be on, just see the 2 of you holding a piece of paper. Can you hear us?
Okay. 57. Watching both.
Can anybody hear us? Give us a note, please. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
Perfect.
We got it. Perfect.
Okay. So yes, we're going to give out 3 6-month memberships to our online crew, and that gets the inside scoop on this whole rebuild. But Blaine, let's go to the first question. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Why hybrid electric? Go. Because you pissed off a lot of people by saying you're going hybrid electric.
The comments in the videos are crazy. So for me, there's a few reasons. One, of course, I love it. I love technical stuff. I love the challenge of it. And quite honestly, I love the quiet. That's going to be pretty big for us. And while it's not going to be quiet for our big cruises, like say going to Japan from the Aleutians or whatnot, we can enjoy significant quiet cruising. So that's a big benefit.
Shall I tell my part of that?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I am a sailor at heart. I sailed around the world in my 20s. I've always been on sailboats. This is our first powerboat. Well, second, because we did work on a mega yacht powerboat together. And for all of you who know that feeling when you're out sailing and the motor turns off and it is a full body experience of the sound just going away and the sail, like all that sound's gone and all you hear is a sailboat. Well, I want Tangaroa to sound like a sailboat.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yep,
that's a really good one.
Exactly what I want. And Blaine says he can make it happen.
Yes, we can. Other than that, excessively long periods of time without running a generator. And yes, I know you can get that with solar as well. However, a lot of the places that we're going to be sitting for very long periods of time with not much to no sunshine. We're going to be in places in monsoon season. We're in the Pacific Northwest in the winter time. We get a lot of shady times where even a lot of solar is going to be hard pressed to be able to supply everything all the time. And we want to be able to not have to worry about power, where we can just leave it and not have to worry about starting up generators all the time, because I hate starting generators.
Now, please do put in your questions. We are going to go through explanations in our talks first, and then we'll go through your questions because I anticipate that what we talk about is going to answer a lot of your questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, look, Phil says hi from Tanner Ridge. That's right by where our house is, where Josh is. So, hi, Phil. We do see all the other ones too. Alignment Guy, SVT Mob, none of these, Kevin. Hi, everyone. Okay, so we figured out why we're going to hybrid electric.
We'll add to that. I am in the search for efficiency, and I know that is a super duper hot topic. People definitely have a lot of opinions on whether that's possible with the configuration we are going with, which is a serial hybrid, which means we will have generators and electric motors. We're going to find out. I am not an expert with hybrid propulsion systems. However, Brent is. Brent has been doing this for a very long time, and quite frankly, I trust his judgment. So we're going with a little bit of faith on that. That being said, as long as it's as good as, I'm pretty happy with it. Yes, it's going to cost money, but for us, it's a good deal. I won't go into that now, but let's just say we're going to probably be doing some R&D over the next few years.
Let's talk about the build, what's going to happen, and what we're anticipating the build is going to be and how we don't quite know it.
Exactly.
Okay, go.
So right now we are looking at a serial hybrid propulsion system. That
serial, not parallel.
Not parallel. That means we're going to have 2 electric drive motors driving the shafts. And yes, they will be fairly big. We're going to have 4 generators powering the boat. This is up in the air right now. We are tossing around a couple of ideas. We are looking at possibly AC generators, which would be good for a service standpoint worldwide, but would suffer an efficiency hit. And we are also looking into custom-built DC generators, which will use modern permanent magnet AC motors converted to generators and controllers for those, which can have a phenomenal efficiency combined between the two. So a little bit of playing around there. We haven't quite figured that out yet. Currently, it's looking like either 4 50 kilowatt AC generators or 2 35 kilowatt DC generators and 2 75 kilowatt DC generators. I got to press Brent a little bit on that and figure out exactly where we're going to go with that. And then for batteries, we're going to be using lithium iron phosphate, of course. It's not perfect, but it's one of the better ones for safety that we have right now. And we're looking at anywhere between 250 to 300 kilowatt hours of 400 plus volts. So this is going to be a high voltage bank, and it's going to be quite a large capacity.
What's going to be really cool about this is we are still in the decision-making process, and we're going to document everything on YouTube, how we decide what we're going to put in and how we're going to customize this whole system. So you guys are going to be at the forefront. We want to be really honest and transparent about this because we really want to prove that this can be done at this level. Okay, again, it is a different build than a lot of the boats out there. Like, it is different than what Delos is doing. Delos is doing
they're doing a parallel hybrid that's got a second electric motor for the other hull.
Yeah, so you can't really compare what we're doing because we're doing a serial. And what's the difference between a parallel and a serial?
So parallel hybrid, they actually put the engine in line with the electric motor to the shaft. So there is still some sort of mechanical link between the main diesel engine and the drive, the propeller. There are benefits to that. There are drawbacks. I'm not going to really get in a lot to that, but it is a different system compared to what we're running on board.
We are just doing what do you call that diagram you've made? The S&D,
the system line diagram. The
system line diagram. We are just mocking that up, and we will share it with you as soon as that is done and that decisions are made. I think I just heard Brent's truck coming in, so he's parking on the bow again. Vancouver traffic. He can answer a lot of this.
Yes, absolutely.
We were going to do so. The confusing part is we were in Alaska up until last month. We made the decision to come back to Vancouver first week of November is when we made the decision. We were sitting in Wrangell, Alaska. We were going to do the project up there. We are coming back here because Trump's tariffs. Okay,
So,
and I don't want to get into politics or anything
not
like
here
that.
to offend anybody, but it would have added a very substantial amount of money to the project. We've got parts coming from everywhere. Yes, some are coming from China. We've got some possibly coming from South Africa, some coming from Louisiana. We don't know at this point. But yes, it is unfortunate, but it would have cost us a considerable amount of money on the project, and that just was not going to happen. It was more efficient for us to come back here and do it in Vancouver.
Yes, if you watch our exploring channel, you won't even know we've left because we will keep putting videos out until we return back from Wrangell. Our plan is to finish this build in 5 months. Yes, we're going to do it.
Yes.
And then we're going to hightail it right back up to Wrangell and continue on and cross over to Japan in August. Yeah. This time, we're going to cross as hybrid electric. So the next 5 months are going to be absolutely crazy.
It will.
Well, Brent, while we're waiting for, look at the man, the myth, the legend is coming in right now.
On the door.
So we're going to move over and let him introduce you. And yes,
Maggie is voicing her discontent with being ignored.
Okay, so just hold on, guys. Brent is coming in. We really appreciate Maggie, Izzy. Anyways, we have 163 of you online right now, which is absolutely amazing. Brent, move on here. You got to sit right down.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to have all three of us nice and cozy.
Hey, guys.
And you got to sit forward a little bit so they can see you. Sorry. This is just like a conversation we're having with all these 156 amazing people.
And,
156
so
amazing
Maggie
people.
is going to get involved here too. I'm
Yes.
certain.
Coming back in, Blaine.
Okay.
So what we just spoke about is we kind of suggested what we're doing. Come in the middle,
Okay.
please.
Here we go. Coming in.
Sorry, I'm right-handed,
Hey,
so
Brent.
Blaine has to come in the middle. And we're all going to squish in here just like okay. So we just explained what we're going to do. Blaine, do you want to do a quick little rundown of what, just to catch up the plan in the engine room?
Okay, so basically it's pretty simple plan. Everything's coming out. We're stripping down the engine room right down to walls insulation, and everything is getting rebuilt around the propulsion system because this is going to be not only getting us around the world, but we want it to look really good too because this is a gem, and for the company as well, it makes sense to make it look good.
So you came in at perfect time because we are just about to answer the next question.
Which one?
This one. Who is Osea? Because we are partnering with Osea Boats, and we're absolutely excited. This is Brent Perry. We're going to let you tell him, going to say a little bit about who he is, okay? Because I saw comments to make sure that he's not a fraud. We have done our due diligence. He is real. He's not a fraud. So tell us a little bit about your pedigree and what Osea Boats is.
Sure. So my history, I've been a boat builder for about 35 years before I started my first lithium battery company. I've worked building both super yachts all around the world. I started out here on Vancouver Island, over on Vancouver Island, working for a company called Waterline Yachts, building steel blue water cruisers, and migrated into building super yachts all over the place. And I worked for companies like Grand Banks, where I participated in the design and the construction of the new Grand Banks 43 and the Aleutian 53, and Hansa Yachts over in Germany, where we did the Fjord powerboats and the Hansa Yachts, as well as worked for the Lures Marine Group, designing boats and building boats for their manufacturing down in St. Augustine, Florida. And then in 2009, while I was at Grand Banks over in Singapore, we got into the concept of lithium batteries and started a company called Corvus Energy. And Corvus Energy was the first company in the world building lithium batteries specifically for marine purposes and, frankly, for commercial marine purposes. And that led me into the last 16 years of doing that both for Corvus and for Shift and for Osea. And so we spent all of our time working on commercial vessels, hybridizing, electrifying, whatever you want to call it, and then decided a couple of years ago to move into the space of what we would define a retail boat, or something that's under 100 feet and not necessarily being used for commercial purposes. And so I started doing research in that space in terms of suppliers and battery suppliers and things like that. and used my boat, which is a sailboat called the Sunward 48, the Sparkman Stevens 48-foot catch, as kind of the test pony, and built the first serial hybrid system for what is a long distance blue water boat.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
I will put a post out on the YouTube community post and on Facebook a little bit about Project Karma, which is Brent's boat, because it is very, very cool.
Yeah. So basically, I've built about 600 electric ships in the last 16 years, and we really love this space because it's so much more fun to work on vessels like this with people like these guys, because the projects are very personal and very meaningful and very impactful. And I truly believe that the future of boating is in sustainable boating and sustainable boating practices, but it's practical as well. It has to be able to perform and meet the needs of whoever the owner is. So that's how we ended up getting connected down in Brentwood Bay.
So what's Osea Yachts? Because Osea Yachts or Osea Boats is new. Okay, this is Brent's newest endeavor, and it's to bring hybrid to boats like us, the recreational.
It's really to electrify recreational boats. And so we have another company called Net Zero Renewable Solutions, where we still do a lot of commercial projects, and we partner with fleet owners to help design their own entire fleet and hybridize or electrify their entire fleet. But we felt that Osea is a very different market, and it's a very unique space. So we wanted to have a company that was specifically addressed and focused on meeting the needs of this marketplace.
Which brings us right to, why Tangaroa? Like, why this boat? Because she's an old boat, 1969 aluminum boat. You wouldn't expect her to be going hybrid electric, and she's going to be like our Oregon. If anybody watches or reads Clyde Cussler, watches the Oregon, this is like Blaine's dream. You look really small, stuck in the middle, by the way.
Well, that's okay.
Did you see what they said? Stuck in the middle
with you.
Yeah.
I did see that. It was awesome.
It made me laugh. So why Tangaroa?
You asking me, or
Yes, you. Why us?
Well,
Why this boat?
Tangaroa is really the perfect platform for a refit. So I love those.
I'm sorry, we disappeared. I hit something. I got excited with my hands.
So, if being practical about this, guys, and I'd like to think we're always practical about this, the vessels that make the most amount of sense to convert are the boats that have equipment that needs to be converted. You're getting long in tooth. It's time for a refresh. You've got a great structure. The vessel is incredibly well built. It'll go another 50 years if its power plant will allow it. And also the needs of boaters have changed. So if you look at how this vessel is used, it's we call them stink pots, we call them noise grinders. People who use these boats want to enjoy the experience as well. They want silent operations. They want to be environmentally impactful. They want to have more reliability and better performance. And frankly, 15 years ago, I couldn't do that with an electric boat without spending $10 billion. Today, it's cost effective and practical. And this boat is really the perfect example of exactly the kind of boats that will go through this kind of retrofit. It's either this or a brand new boat that's purpose built and purpose designed for this purpose. And we're working on relationships with OEMs for that too as well.
But I think if you can prove that it can be done on us, because this is almost going to be like a research and development, building the system, then it should be able to be done on any boat.
Oh, it'll work. Yeah, 100%.
What's really cool about Osea is the plan is they can take all the components. So they design the hybrid electric system for you. They put all the components in a 40-foot container plus everything you need to do it.
All the wiring and fittings and connectors and small bits and pieces, yes.
And they ship that 40-foot container to you. They plunk it down and say, go for it.
Effectively.
Which is Blaine's dream, like
Yes.
you guys know.
Yeah.
So we're very excited about that. Are you ready to answer some questions?
Sure.
Guys, because we have lots here.
Oh, there are a lot of questions.
Throw your questions in. I'm going back to the beginning, guys. Here we go. Okay. By the way, it is so cool having 182 of you. This is our biggest live yet. So thank you very much to each and every one of you to supporting, and the people who have been here and met us and watched us on YouTube. Tim, ice is the only way to go. It's working in Minnesota.
Internal combustion engine.
Oh, I'm like, ice? Minnesota? I'm very
Different ice.
confused. I get it now. See what Tim did there? We're not
I
getting
see
into
that.
politics. No politics. SV team up. I'm not mad. I'm looking at buying a boat. I'm curious to know the cost of the conversion.
That's a tough answer on that one.
The cost of the conversion is relatively the same as if you were to repower this boat with conventional power today. And that also certainly depends upon where we focus elements of the conversion. So in this case, we're looking at about a 300 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is on the large side for a battery pack for a vessel like this. The cost of that battery pack is going to be around $65,000. When you're looking at multiple generators, they're not large, so the cost per generator is actually pretty effective. And then it comes down to the e-motors, which are actually really reasonably priced in the size range. In the 100 to 120 kilowatt size, the e-motors, I can pick them up for under $20,000 a piece. On my boat, so I'll use Karma as an example because I have all the data on that. The conversion where I took my engine and my generator out and I replaced that with a battery and a bigger generator and an e-motor, the cost of conversion was exactly $1,000 more than it would have been for me to repower the boat with a new diesel and a new generator. So, and those prices, frankly, will come down as time evolves because we've seen a drop in the batteries from when I started doing this, there were about $3,500 per kilowatt hour. And now we're in the $200 range for the same quality technology. So the prices come down, solar prices come down. Frankly, even the generator prices are not that bad today. And the e-motor market is pretty robust and the prices, frankly, have always been pretty good there. So it certainly depends upon how you scale. You could put a 300 kilowatt hour battery on this or a 100 kilowatt hour battery. That depends. That's driven by how long do you want to be off anchor or off generator at anchor, I think is a better way to put it. But those are the decisions each of the customers is going to make to suit their needs.
Now, I do want to clarify, and Blaine can probably summarize it really quick. What was our $60,000 mistake? Because that got a bit confusing for people.
That's actually pretty simple. The $60,000 mistake is that I didn't go and meet Brent when I should have.
Before the Cummins went in.
Before the Cummins
and we
went
bought
in.
the Cummins.
And I should also point out as well that a typical repower on a boat of this size with what I have done would typically be way more than $60,000. Like I did it in pretty much the bottom of what you could ever possibly do it with, and 99.9% of the people are going to be probably quadruple that if they're going to be doing it with new engines and paying somebody to do this work.
Yeah, we did not include our labor.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's keep going here because that was awesome. Nate Stiles says, will there be dual generators like dual engines for redundancy?
4 generators. Yep.
And it's a great question because redundancy and service are the two things that really matter so much more than the initial concept as well. So in this case, we're balancing whether to go with 2 generators that are smaller and 2 that are larger, or 4 generators that are all the same size, just for convenience of service and parts and hours on application. This vessel needs about 50 kilowatts to do cruising speed. So if we have 4 generators at 50 kilowatts continuous output each, then effectively we're only needing to run 1 generator probably 85% of the time to provide them with the cruising speed that they need. That's 1/4 of the fuel consumption of a couple of big engines. It's going to give you much better range and also much better sound attenuation. And then you cycle the generators one after the other so that they work much less over time and require less maintenance and cost to take care of.
Now, I do recommend, sorry, let me go back to where I was. Oh, I know. We have 236 people watching, by the way. Thank you so much. We would really appreciate if you hit the like button. It kind of helps with the YouTube stuff. Just hit that heart like button. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
It
And
helps
keep
us.
the questions coming.
And keep the questions coming because this is awesome. Oh, Brent, we did have a question on where you got your Osea vest.
In Vancouver at the Patagonia shop.
And then you just got it embroidered, right?
Yeah, that's it.
We support Patagonia because they're a sustainable company.
Osea Boats, go onto the website. They have a newsletter. Sign up because it's kind of cool what they're doing. And there's going to be a lot in there about the Tangaroa retrofit, what we're doing, the repower. So go to osea.boats.com. I'll put that in the description after on this channel and sign up for the newsletter. Okay. If you want to give up your email, I know it's hard to give up emails sometimes. We spoke. Okay. Why not build a box?
I'll answer that one.
Why not? So here, look, I'm going to start putting comments on the bottom.
So it's not just about the box for the Cummins that we have right now. The Cummins are just the wrong size. They are way too big, and they just don't run efficiently at the kind of power that we're going to be demanding out of them at what we need to push the boat. So they're just wrong for everything for what we need.
Now, Tim, thank you very much. These electrics are not bad. We talked about how much this is going to cost. SVT Mub, thank you so much for your question.
That was when we were talking about the, yeah. Good.
We talked about that again.
Yep, serial hybrid.
Now let's go to Brent. Why are we going serial hybrid and not parallel on this boat?
Again, I get asked that question a lot, and I would tell you that I would typically recommend whatever I think is the best thing for the platform. And the real challenge with the parallel hybrids today is if you're going to go down that road, you want to have a DC generator as part of that parallel hybrid. And there just isn't enough market-ready, commercially viable, flexible in size DC generators with companies that have the capacity for global support. And we're still exploring, frankly, 2 DC generator options here. But the likelihood is it's going to be an AC generator set up on the boat.
I'm giving you a face.
And
We'll chat about that.
we go from there. But you could absolutely build this into a parallel hybrid system. And we can still look at actually making what I'll hypothetically call a serial parallel hybrid, so that you have the ability to tie the generators into shaft to be able to drive in an emergency if the batteries were to fail.
I think the key here is with us being the test subject, Osea wants to be able to build this system here, prove it works, so that it can easily be put in other boats so they can electrify other boats.
Yeah.
Am I right?
And it's a stage of evolution, guys. Like what we do on this boat today, for me, this will always be a test vessel. And we'll use it as an opportunity for all of you to continually demonstrate the improvements in the technologies. But it's not always about technology. It's really, to a certain degree, much more about serviceability and reliability and uptime. And we learned that in the commercial business. And with pleasure boaters, uptime is so important. You don't want to waste your time waiting for parts. You don't want to waste your time stuck having to fix something. You don't want to waste your time doing anything but doing fishing and surfing and traveling from point A to point B. And the serial hybrid will give us an extraordinarily reliable platform here.
And we have a good ability as well because we are a twin engine boat. So we have redundancy built in already for side to side.
Don't worry about it. Right?
Some things may change if you had a single engine boat or you had one shaft. Parallel hybrid might make more sense because it's got a little bit of redundancy built right on the shaft. We've got failure modes that we can run in even if we have a failure on one side.
Okay, Kevin's got a great question. This is the same one I had, Kevin. Why are we not using the Cummins as a generator?
I think I touched on that a little bit. It's just the wrong size. There is no way that we could run that engine in a generator standpoint that would allow us to hit the efficiency points on that engine that we need to hit.
One of the things to consider, everybody, is your fuel consumption and engine efficiency. So if we run the generators at near their peak power, so let's pretend they end up being 60 kilowatt generators that can run 50 all the time, your emissions are about 20% of that is a generator that only runs half as efficient. Your fuel consumption is idealized for the amount of power you put out, so you run the generator the least amount of time. So if you had a pair of 250 horse engines, which we could easily convert into being generators, the problem is your efficiency matrix and your fuel consumption is not going to really show you any improvement. Think about it in the sense that we're going to be running a quarter size as what they have available now to achieve the same performance. So the fuel efficiency, not 100% related to that, but pretty close. But more importantly, the environmental impact is absolutely as minimal as possible wherever you go.
I do want to say thank you so much to none of these, because this project is going to be crowdfunded. So these super chat money, thank you so much. It goes right into the hybrid account, and we'll talk more about that later on how we're going to do this, which gives you a hint that we're using our own money. But wait for it. We'll tell you all about that at the end. We talked about, let's go back up. Sorry. Where was I?
I don't know where you were. Oh, we were below that.
There was something about.
Repurposing Cummins as a generator. So we're below there. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I screwed this up.
Can you reuse the Cummins?
Oh, Bilgerwater says hi from New Zealand. Thank you. Oh, this one. Have you looked into jet drive system as set of props, you two?
Yeah.
I have not.
He's saying yes.
I've built about 36 or 37 hybrid versions with jet drives, and they work really well. The vessels typically have a different speed criteria. So we're looking for vessels that can do better than 30 knots when we're using jet drives. So we typically put them in high performance power applications. This vessel really wouldn't be very practical to be a jet drive in that regard. So that's probably why.
See if I get this right. Stretch Shambro says, thank you very much. Great idea. It's the future. We think so.
Yeah, certainly do.
Yeah. Now you're using fossil fuels to charge your battery. So why not just use fossil fuels to turn the prop?
Same thing. It's the volume of fossil fuels, and it's the impact of the fossil fuels. So something a lot of people probably don't really understand specifically, diesel engines like to run constant speed, constant power. That's how they find their greatest point of performance and efficiency and their lowest maintenance costs. When you run them variable power, then they tend to cost more money to take care of, and they burn considerably more fuel. And if I'm burning fuel, if I'm burning 9 gallons or I'm burning 2 gallons, that's a big difference in the cost of operation and the range of the vessel when you have 11,000 liters of fuel on board. So that's really the thinking pattern. Yeah, nobody, and I've built literally hundreds of these, nobody thinks that diesel fuel is going anywhere, but there's optimizing how diesel fuel is used and making it complementary with other technologies that can make it more effective and better and more reliable. So that's why we do it this way.
So talk about the fuel burn, what we've done so far on Tangaroa, starting with the Detroits.
We've actually got a really good platform here to show progress through different technologies. We started off with 12V71 diesels, big 14-liter two-strokes, and we saw 9 gallons an hour at 9 knots because those engines, they were way overpowered and they were old Detroit two-strokes. The efficiencies were terrible, especially at the RPMs that we were running them at. So we upgraded to the Cummins 6.7s, electronic engines, less horsepower, running them closer to their peak efficient or peak power points. We gained a double increase in range. So we cut our fuel burn in half, going from the Detroits to the Cummins engines. So that's a pretty big jump. Even still, where we're running our engines is way out of their efficiency point. I mean, I would say probably in the range of 15 to 20% would be my guess on that. So yeah, it's just we're chasing the best efficiency point on engines, and right now we still have too big of an engine for what we need 99% of the time.
Yep.
Bonita, thank you so much for your donation, Tillman. We really appreciate it. Okay, moving down to questions, guys. Sorry. Liam, how much will your solar panels assist in the propulsion?
That's a good question. That all boils down to how much solar we can fit up there. We are building this system to not be dependent upon solar, but it is definitely icing on the cake. It will be very nice to have that done. And we are currently looking at anywhere between 5 and 10 kilowatts. That's not going to make a massive impact on the instantaneous travel of the boat. However, if you think about it in a long-term standpoint, we could say, for example, do a 4-hour trip, drop anchor, stay for 3 or 4 days, and solar will top our batteries back up again. And that 4-hour trip is now completely paid by solar.
Especially the fact that after Japan, we are heading south. So there'll be a lot more sun.
Think about it that your renewables extend your time between generator charges of the batteries. So we've designed this boat to have between 4 and 5 days of operation just on battery alone. And then when you charge your batteries, you can do it with, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And again, have that 4 to 5 days. If every day we're getting 60 kilowatts of our 60 kilowatt hour of solar into the batteries, we'll extend that from 4 to 5 to 6 to 7, maybe even 8 days. And again, you're just reducing the reliance on the generator to provide power. And that's really where renewables come into the mix.
I'm thinking about more in a to infinity and beyond amount of time between generator runs.
RV Sparky asks, how about electric propulsion on Tangaroa? I've seen electric outboard motors.
On Tonga.
Oh, on Punga.
Punga, yes.
It's coming probably.
Eventually, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I can see that coming. That's going to be after we test it on the big ship, on the mothership. On Tangaroa, we'll determine about Punga later. Punga is our dinghy. Cereal like Cheerios. I get it. Cereal as in SERIL. Keep your Cummins motors just in case it's a fraud.
Oh boy.
Brent, are you a fraud?
No.
Trust me,
All
guys.
fraudsters are going to say that, though.
I am a cop through and through. And Blaine and I researched Brent thoroughly.
Yes.
Like it was almost coming down to a bodily search to make sure he's not fraud. Okay, that sounds a bit weird.
Yeah.
I know.
We'll call it stalking.
Stalking. We did a ton of research into this before we made the decision. This wasn't light. We've been talking to Brent since March.
Yes.
Right?
And Brent has got a substantial online profile if you have a look for him.
First of all, this is our highest live ever. We just broke 306. 306 of you guys watching. Thank you so much. Again, throw in a thumbs up or a heart if you're liking this information. And back to you. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I invite anybody who's concerned about my credentials to come and see my boat in Mexico. And you're welcome to see a real live working serial hybrid that's already done 3,000 miles of ocean delivery as well. We practice what we preach, basically.
And I will put the article and video up of his of Karma. I absolutely tomorrow. Hey, Mulicious says, seems like the largest problem is proper weight balance. Seems like a lot of weight.
Funny enough, that's actually a benefit for us.
Mm-hmm.
When we did the conversion from the Detroits to the Cummins, we dropped about 5,000 pounds of weight on that conversion, possibly even more.
Plus all the Bondo I took off this boat.
Exactly. So we've lost a lot of weight off the boat, and a lot of that was down low. While I haven't noticed any major adverse effects of that, it is always on my mind having that ballast gone from the bottom of the boat. So with this system, we're actually adding that back again. So we're going to kind of end up back where we started, and we're going to have better stability on the boat as well.
Well, right now, Tangaroa is 80,000 pounds, or 82, I think was the last.
Yep.
So how many pounds are we going to add?
We'll come in about 85 to 86.
Yep.
So that's a benefit, guys. And we can't wait to show you the sea trial after this and see how the weight makes a difference on Tangaroa. Have you decided if we're going to remove any tankage?
Oh, she's saying no, but she doesn't know. We're not losing any main tankage. There's a very good chance that we will be at the very least shrinking down our day tanks in the engine room. But I do have to be careful with that because I do use those tanks for ballasting heel on the boat. So I have to have enough in there where I can use it for that.
Yeah. Heather, I'm glad you're here. Ron King is shocking that we're going hybrid electric. Maybe.
Shocking. See what he did there.
I know. I get it. Hybrid electric, shocking. It takes me a bit, guys. We've been 5 days at Boat Show talking to a lot of people, meeting a lot of you. My mind is a little bit fried. FOMA, these Cummins were so nice. Have you guys thought of using them to run generator or mounting them on board for possible future use? I think we talked about that.
We did talk about that, yeah.
Thank you for the question very much, FOMA. I really appreciate it. 400 volts is what the house solar panels generate.
They can be added up to multiple different voltages, but I mean, it's all how we configure them up there. We can put them at any voltage, and the MPPT will handle whatever we need to put them into.
Blaine does want more solar panels. He is talking about fabricating wings that come out from underneath the solar panels we have. So if we're at Anchorage, it's like,
Gotta do something cool.
I know.
As if we're not doing enough cool stuff here.
None of these says 300 kilowatts. Is that ridiculous?
It's
Go big or go home, right? Question: do the electric motors need a cooling system?
Yes, they do. Well, they don't necessarily need it depending on the manufacturer, but in this case, we are using a liquid-cooled motor because the components tend to last a lot longer if you're managing the temperature.
Yep. And you have better output as well because they will derate with heat.
You don't lose any efficiency as they warm up.
Now, Tim raises a good question because we had this problem with our lithiums battery bank. If you guys remember, we had to move them because it was too cold. Cold weather really takes a hit on those batteries. Think about that.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely has to be taken into account on the design. Lithium batteries don't like to go below about 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. Then they start to have a negative effect on the impedance of the batteries. So we will basically make sure the room is climate controlled. So it's typically between 8 and 25 or 30 degrees.
This whole, this whole engine room is getting redone, guys. It's not going to be what you expect. It's going to be absolutely wild. Crooker says Dodge DC generators are efficient and literally bulletproof. We use them at work. Trade-off is they're heavy. Have we considered Dodge DC generators?
Have not looked at Dodge DC generators. If you could send us some information on that, that would be great.
Yeah, send it to crew@onboardtangaroa.com. Croker, we would love to see it. Dick says, check out World War II diesel subs. 4 diesel engines, 2 for charging batteries, 2 for electric drive on the shafts.
Yeah. I've converted 4 U-boats to serial hybrids with lithium batteries instead of lead acid batteries. The performance is game-changing from a tactical point of view and frankly a people environment point of view. No gas.
True.
Okay, wait. Yeah. You converted 4 submarines? Guys, this is so cool.
I'm certain you guys can probably find this somewhere as well.
No.
No.
There's nothing written about that.
That might be a bit secret. Militia says hopefully a system based on 800 volt.
That's going to come down to final component selection. So the 800 volt is absolutely the better way to go, but you're also dealing with compliance issues in terms of voltage and safety from a service point of view. And if we could go 800 volts, I'd be perfectly happy, but that also kind of depends upon your charging infrastructure and what we're going to select for that. And this boat is kind of a weird mix over from a smaller vessel that ABYC would say should be 48 volts and a commercial vessel, which would be 1,000 volts. But a higher voltage is certainly the plan is for at least 400 volts and then probably up towards 800 volts. Yes.
So these are some of the decisions that if you subscribe, we are going to do in our videos. Okay. Like we are going to be totally honest and transparent in videos. You guys are going to see the decision making, the whole build and everything in real time. And I'll explain that at the end.
And if you have input.
And we're going to be over auditing the suppliers for all of this equipment. So you guys will be able to come to us to the factories and actually see how they're built, what they are like, and why should we make that selection. It's going to be kind of a cool process for you.
Promise you guys will be entertained. RW Netrath, yes, we talked about the Cummins. We are selling them. Yeah. Anybody need some Cummins? They're great for trucks, a hopped up performance truck or anything. We are selling the 2 Cummins. Stella and Porsche could be yours. No clue how much we're going to sell them for. That's going to be a Blaine question.
It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt. Fama says, so are they going to be Azipod propulsion?
No.
Not yet?
You could. Azipods are pretty pricey, and the controls for them are also pretty sophisticated and subject to hitting a log or something like that. They're very easily damaged. So in this case, I don't think it's really the right solution for a drive. They do work really well. Like we call them commercially, we call them nozzles. And we use them on icebreakers, and we use them on large river boats where we're pushing barges all over the place in North America. and they're a little more efficient, but the technology hasn't really devolved into something this size as well as it needs to be, I think, to be applied here.
That's a good answer.
That's a very good answer.
Yes. Larissa from Brazil. Hi, way down in Brazil. I watch you. How much time will be necessary to do this?
We are kind of planning on the 5-month range. That's our goal. Most of that is going to be prepping the engine room.
Yep.
There is going to be an absolutely ginormous amount of work to be done down there for cleanup. We're doing rewiring on all the electrical systems on the boat, new panels, insulation, you name it, ventilation, everything is getting tackled. So yeah, there's going to be a few months of doing that before the super exciting stuff starts to happen.
We still plan on crossing to Japan in August of this year. Okay, Great Siberian Sushi Run, still going.
Still on.
Joe wants to know if we're living on the boat.
Oh yeah.
Of course we are,
Oh, yeah.
Joe. Joe, you know us.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, not going anywhere.
I love having a hole right through my galley floor that I could fall down. Tim, can you simulate the sound of the turbos on a diesel just so you feel more at home?
I'm sure I could, but
I don't
I don't think
it.
that's going to happen.
The whole goal is to make Tangaroa sound like a sailboat.
I think we just say play some Metallica loud and you'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that saying in your presentation yesterday?
Which one? Oh, the about the Detroits and
Yeah.
converting? Yeah. Somebody said that Detroits are the most efficient thing for converting diesel to noise, and
So
we can confirm that.
watch our presentation. We've actually put up the sound meters,
Yeah.
decibel readers. None of these says, can you tell us if there'll be 12 volt, 24 volt, or 48?
None of that for the propulsion side. We will have likely 12 and 24 volt for various systems on the boat. Navigation software, radios, the anchor windlass up front, but nothing will be related to propulsion for those voltages.
Kelly says Edison Motor has done a lot of work on DC generators.
Yeah, we should actually give them a shot at some point.
They have.
Yeah.
I've worked with them in the past.
Brent's worked with them. Don't worry, guys. We will check out their videos and we will touch base with them. And maybe might be a collab in the future. Who knows what's going to happen?
That'd be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool. Scott, sodium batteries a possibility in the future? Some game-changing stuff going on in that tech.
No.
Damn.
The challenge you face with boats, guys, is energy density and weight density, if you want. So the 300 kilowatt hour battery pack is going to come in at about 2.6 tons. If I were to do that same energy with a sodium battery currently, I'd be significantly heavier and bigger in volume than that. And sodium batteries have not proven themselves yet to be safe from what we call parallel thermal runaway. They were really well used in about 15 years ago. There was a hugely growing commercial technology. And then we had some problems in the field where there were some fires, and we found we had a hard time slowing those fires down. So we went away from it. But today, it's a great technology for land-based energy storage where weight, volume, and area aren't a concern. But on a ship, you have to buy every square centimeter or inch, however you want to put it, or cubic centimeter or inch. And so we need to get as much energy density into the battery system as we can in order to buy more space for all of the other equipment that's going to be in here. And as a boat builder, I can tell you there's one truth, in that every boat is exactly 1 meter too short for everything it needs.
I'm going to actually preempt a question because I know it's going to get asked at some point.
Well, why don't we wait till it's asked?
Because it ties into this.
Preempt it, baby.
Solid state batteries, new lithium solid state batteries. What's your take on them?
They're coming, and I think solid state has a real place. I would also say that today, not commercially yet in the fire ready go stage. There's not enough in manufacture that is capable of scaling up to this size, and it's not ready. 7 years? Yes.
So you'll see us put those in 7 years, guys.
Yeah, I do think that will be when, these batteries will last for about 10 or 12. But when it's time for a battery change, when we do go to solid state on this, what you're going to see is probably about a 25 to 30% increase in energy density for the same footprint. in terms of viable commercial product. And you'll also, I think, get something that will last for upwards of 20 years. But there's still a lot of commercial validation that has to be done before I would incorporate that into a marine application. One of the criteria is that these boats now, they're going to be in Japan, they're going to be in Hawaii, they're going to be in the South Pacific. Who knows where they go? But serviceability is a big key. And so you have to have the farther afield you're going to go, the more reliable the core elements of your boat need to be. So being a test pilot is okay on some things, but you want your absolute core dependencies to be 100% uptime reliable. And solid state's not there yet.
Now, this is a big project for us. I am going to ask you guys, and I was going to wait to the end, but I kind of want some ideas. For fun, we need a name for this project. Operation something, right? Project something. We need to call it something, kind of like what Matt's off-road recovery does, where everything's got a name. You know, Blaine and I like to name things. We are going to give a t-shirt to anybody who comes up with the name we use. So if you have an idea of what we should call this huge project, please put it in the comments. And by the time we get through the questions, we should have some good ideas. So we really appreciate that.
They're already coming.
I know, I'm quite excited. Okay, Tim says, Tim's a non-believer. He says, I think electric propulsion is fine if you're just going to run around in the city.
Okay.
I think we need to prove Tim wrong. Tim, you have to stick around. This is going to be an interesting project and our whole goal.
Now, if that were just a battery-only electric vehicle,
different.
I would say yes.
You would be correct.
That is not what we're talking about here. This is an entirely different animal.
I think we surprised Drew. Hi, Drew. By the way, Drew's a good friend of ours from Brentwood Bay, and I think we surprised him by going electric.
Yeah.
Brent did spoke in our talk yesterday, and he did his own talk, and Bonita really liked it. So good job, Brent.
Thanks.
We talked about the Azipod. Oh, here we go. Now, don't scare anybody. Only thing I'm uncomfortable with, electric, is those darn battery fires. What do you think? Let's talk safety.
Well, interestingly enough, it is a completely relevant question, and it shouldn't scare anybody. When you increase the energy density of your batteries by a factor of 6 or 7, you create a more difficult to manage potential fire, right? You're dealing with a lot more energy. And lithium has the ability to self-start once it's caught fire. So it has to be managed really carefully. And the first part of that is we are incorporating liquid cooling in the batteries as well. So the liquid cooling prevents the battery cells, I'm getting a bit technical here, from being able to get to an internal temperature where they can go into thermal runaway and catch fire. So a fire is virtually impossible with a good liquid cooling system because it keeps the batteries at their ideal operating temperature all the time. Then you have to have a firefighting system. And there are a couple, and we'll do probably 1 or 2 whole segments on firefighting because it's such an important thing. But we designed firefighting systems for lithium batteries about 14 or 15 years ago, which are now the standard globally for what we do on commercial vessels. And we'll be putting a smaller version of that system on board Tangaroa and supplementing it with some chemical firefighting equipment specifically for lithium batteries to help prevent you from having to face that problem at all. And frankly, we'll also be building in some training and service and support for the crew to understand, what do you do if something happens? Like, what's your escape plan? How are you going to manage the event? And good boating is all about good planning. So with what we can do with the technology and the products that are available today, combine that with good process management through it, we'll create a very, very safe platform here for these guys. And I'm confident that we will not put them in a position where they can burn to a crisp.
These guys might be upset if
I
that
really
happens.
don't like burning to a crisp.
No, crispy.
No,
bad.
crispy Jan is Blaine, not a good crispy bacon. Crispy Blaine, not a good thing. Liam's got a great question here. Are we going to change the prop technology? We have to fix the props now.
Brent's nodding yes, but I don't know if he means this build.
No, the initially not. Propellers are frankly the most interesting part about converting a vessel to electric because of the different nature of how power is applied to a shaft with a battery versus with an engine. I've just finished testing what I'll call Generation 1 propeller on my boat. I'm actually going back to my older propeller next to see how well that performs. And I work with propeller people all the time looking for what is the ideal, both in terms of power generation and also efficiency and performance forward and reverse. And I don't think we should change the propeller to start off with because these guys have such a great baseline of data now that let's compare with the existing propeller how it works. But we've already started researching different propellers and designs for this because that is going to require the data we get from the testing of the initial propeller into seeing can we make it 10% better. If you can't make it 6 to 10% better, you don't bother changing it. If we can, or even more than 6 or 10, then it's definitely going to be worth taking a look at. But that's when you're starting to split the hairs of efficiency improvements, and you have to really measure them against cost as well.
Thank you so much to Nate Stiles for the $5 super chat. We extremely appreciate it. It's going into the hybrid piggy bank. Thank you so much to FOMO for the donation. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much to our Janie. You guys have run the full gambit. This is going to be so cool to watch. Oh, you wait to see what we're going to do. I'll tell you at the end how we're going to document this in real time. And we're quite excited. Okay, let's go back. So I'm going back up. So this is interesting. FOMO, sorry, let's go back to Tim. Tim, we talked about the price already of lithium batteries and how long they last. You just touched on it. How long do you expect these batteries to last on Tangaroa?
The calendar life is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 or 16 years, but we will look at probably translating the batteries at 10 to 12 years, just again, because better technology will be cheaper and more available at that time.
So you guys are getting the hint here. This is not just going to be a one-time with OSEA. We are partnering with OSEA for the long term, and we want to make Tangaroa. See, I think we should call it Operation Guinea Pig. I think that's kind of cool. That's my name I'm going to put in there.
Are you going to use a little guinea pig as the...
I know! Operation Guinea Pig.
Basically, I mean, all the new stuff that's going to be coming out, you're going to see it here. If it's worth it to try, we're going to try it.
Yeah. Tell a little bit about your boat, Karma. They want to know if it's steel or aluminium.
Karma's neither. Karma's a solid fiberglass hull built back in 1983 at a place called Sunward Yachts in North Carolina. It was designed by Al Mason at Sparkman & Stevens to be an ultimate blue water cruiser. My particular boat has been around the world 3 times with previous owners. So we bought it for that purpose. And then we lived aboard for a year to decide what we liked about the boat. And then we took it out of the water and did a refit, a complete stripped down refit of the boat, and then put it back in the water with the serial hybrid system on board. We ran that around the Gulf Islands for about 5 months. And then we took the boat offshore, and now it's in La Paz, Mexico. On board Karma, I have a 30 kilowatt e-motor, of which I need about 15 to do 6.5 knots, and I need about 24 kilowatts to do 8.5 knots. I have a 60 kilowatt hour battery, and it's a 48 volt system that converts everything on board to 24 volt for the most part, and a 20 kilowatt generator on board that is able to produce enough power for me to cruise at 6.5 knots and charge the batteries so that wherever I do long distance, like 600, 800 mile legs without any wind, I can run the generator very efficiently to give me 6.5 knots of speed and arrive at an anchorage with a full battery and basically 4 or 5 days of power. So that's Karma.
Again, I will do an article about Karma and we'll put it up on our website or on Facebook. I'll share it out exactly what Karma is about. And we've got footage, pictures of his engine room. Okay. Are you guys good with keep going? Do you have to go anywhere, Brent?
No,
or we have a ton of questions here. Okay. I do want to break the questions right now and talk a little bit about this project and our partnership with OSEA. Okay. And you explained this really well. I did it yesterday. Okay. They aren't giving us this equipment, guys. Okay. Nope. We are testing it for them, but this is our own money. And our hope is to crowdfund this project because this is going to be, I think, one of the first boats of our size as a motorboat to do a in real time hybrid electric conversion on YouTube.
With very detailed everything.
Not one of the first. This will be the first. My boat was the first sailboat to go for this kind of application. This is the first average good sized powerboat doing the same
on
thing.
YouTube.
On YouTube.
And we're documenting it. And you guys are going to get, and this is going to take a ton of work from us. So think about the work and the entertainment that this is going to be our full-time job. God, I hate asking for sponsorship, but we're going to ask. I'm sorry. I hope we entertain you guys. We are going to do 3 videos a week. You're going to get videos Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and we're going to go live every Monday, except for February the 16th, because we're going to take our kids to Fandom here in Vancouver. Fan Expo here in Vancouver. Again, 3 videos a week. We really appreciate the support. We want to give back though. Okay, so we do have our membership on Patreon and through our website. There's a ton of perks with swag and crew swag, and they're going to get a lot more of the tech stuff that we're not going to put out on YouTube because the YouTube algorithm just doesn't like tech videos.
No, they don't.
So
I tried that. Yeah, it doesn't go well.
We did it with our ECU video. It tanked our ECU tuning. So the really techie stuff is going to go out to our members. We are also going to do something really cool. We are going to have, ready? You got to say it with me. The Wall of Power. This is a new thing, guys. We are hoping to have either doors or anything on the power bank. Okay. And we are going to do plaques. I know you've seen it before. Plaques just like this. We've got a Maggie one here. She's not going on the Wall of Power. But your name and quote, hometown, or boat will go on these plaques, and they will be put up in the engine room on the Wall of Power.
Permanently.
Yes. And they will always be in the engine room because we really appreciate your support in helping do this hybrid electric build. You can check out more of this. We've already sold a couple plaques, sold or mounted, or yes, we've got a couple already going on the Wall of Power. We're so excited, but we want to give back that way. And on every video throughout this whole conversion, we're also going to have your name and name of our Patreons and members running on the end of every video. So your name is going to be in a YouTube video.
All right, enough of that. Let's get back to the fun stuff.
Oh, go to our website to check it out, onboardtangaroa.com. Thank you so much. But Wall of Power, it's going to be awesome. Join our top tier, which is First Mate, or you can just get a plaque without joining our membership. You can check it out on our website. Okay, back to the questions. Sorry, guys. I should not apologize. This is going to be so much fun. Together, we are doing this, people. Okay. Ranking says, how about a 60-foot aluminum cruisers, twin hull? God, I'd love to be hybrid.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always saying I can electrify anything until I look at the project, but comfortably we have electrified everything. So I'd be happy to take a look at that for you.
So let's prove it gets done on Tangaroa, and then you need to call up Brent and Osea. Promise, it's going to be cool, and soon you're going to have a 40-foot container with everything you need to make your boat hybrid delivered right to you.
It's like Christmas.
I know. Make sure they don't take a big hit when it's cold weather. We talked about that. Lady Luna is saying hi.
Hi, guys.
Liam, Blaine understands that it's why we moved his batteries up. Exactly. We got the cold. Please make a post about Osea. So what I did is we have a new page on our website all about Osea, and you guys can check it out. So go to onboardtangaroa.com, and there's a new page I just launched today about the hybrid electric. I'm just going to go right through questions. Sorry, guys. We have so much questions, which is amazing. And look, 329 people. Going back up. Sorry, I'm scanning, guys. Blaine, they call you the magician on the tools. This is going to be a great project, especially with the magician on the tools. Blaine's able to fabricate with his eyes closed. He's also able to make tools disappear.
Safety squint.
You're also, did you hear me?
I heard you. I am a magician.
with all the disappear ones.
Yeah.
Tangaroa is practice at engine placement for now.
Yep.
Do you think it will plane as it did with the Cummins, Brent? Did we plane?
We didn't plane.
Well, the performance will be exactly the same. There'll be no difference in the performance at all.
Can we talk about the goal of OSEA with regards to the performance of your boat? Because that was a big key thing, is we didn't want the performance of what we have with the Cummins to diminish.
No, you won't. The simple reality is that physics are physics, energy is energy. And whether it's sourced in a battery bank or a 5-gallon diesel jug, it's just energy and how efficiently you convert it. And electric motors are significantly more efficient than diesel engines in terms of power conversion. We'll see exactly the same with less energy, really, delivered to the propellers and give you the performance these guys want. This vessel will be able to do up to, I think, around 14 knots if you need it, but it's designed to run around 9 knots most of the time.
Yeah, for reference, we've never done 14 knots on this boat.
Yeah.
Unless there's a current behind us.
Yes.
But that goes right back to our propeller conversation, because almost all of those questions are only going to be really changed fundamentally with the design of the propellers.
Now, Sailing Esperanza, guys, they have their own YouTube site too and Facebook. You should check them out, Sailing Esperanza. Have you chosen your batteries and system, Victron? ?
We have got very good prospects for the batteries. I think we've kind of, we're going to be auditing a supplier here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. You guys will be along with us for that. You'll get to see the entire factory and go through with us on what it's about.
Yeah, but in this case, it's not likely to be Vectron batteries simply because the voltage.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with a different product in category entirely when you increase the voltage up into the 400, 800 volt range. And most of Vectron product is designed to operate in the 12 to 24 volt, 48 volt spectrum. So there will be some Vectron gear on board because they do a great job on a lot of the parts and pieces that they do, especially as it relates to 12 and 24 volt. But the higher voltage stuff is not likely going to be Vectron equipment at all.
Now, that being said, Victron is offering an 800 volt rack mount inverter, but it's not available yet. And quite frankly, I don't know that we want to be the first people to be using that. So no, it will not likely be Victron.
Liam wants to know, is there a minimum amount of space in an engine room required to do a hybrid electric conversion?
Nope.
Talk about your engine room on Karma, because it's actually fairly small, your engine room on your boat.
Well, on Karma, by sailboat standards, it was kind of big.
Oh, sorry.
But we have about...
Talk about the size of the man's engine room.
When we took when we took everything out of Karma and we got right to the bottom of the keel, from the bottom of the keel to the sole of the cockpit was about 9 feet. We filled in the bottom about 2.5 to 3 feet with black water and gray water tanks. So let's say we have about a 6 by 6 by 7 engine room, which gave us plenty of space. But what's really striking with electrical systems is how much less gear you have and that you need. And it gives you the ability to have white walls and clean lines and nice looking wiring tracking and things like that you just can't do with conventional systems.
Now, none of these, we mentioned this a little bit, but I want to say it again. Brent, can you tell us what voltage you'll be running, 12, 24, 48? If I remember, I heard you say it was 12 volt, which was surprising. Isn't 48 volt the norm? And don't you benefit going higher voltage, 48 to 72?
Are we talking about the boat?
I think maybe it's a difference between your boat and this one.
Sorry. Yeah. So Karma being a smaller platform, we went within the ABYC guidelines, which was a 48 volt system for the battery and the e-motor. And then we convert that to 24 and 12 volt as it's needed for the hotel loads and equipment on board the ship. In this case, we're really not doing anything differently because a lot of the conventional equipment on board the boat is going to be 12 or 24 volt. And that will be available and it will come off of the battery pack via DC to DC converters. But the battery pack and the propulsion system has to be a much higher load, again, in the 400, 800 volt, just to minimize the size of cables and make the power transition more efficient.
Now, SB has the same question as I did because we are on our route to Japan and then down into Indonesia. So how is part availability away from North America?
Parts availability is one of the largest criteria for who we do ultimately pick as a supplier, but effectively we'll gear the boat to be completely redundant in parts for the most part. But basically the vessel should be able to sustain any failure within the realm of Blaine being able to do that at the time, and then buy us some time to replace any parts like that need to be shipped to wherever they happen to be. But service and support are absolutely two of the most important elements when we consider design, because you need your suppliers to be there for you when you call them, not to be fire and forget and not to be impossible to support you. It has to all be real time.
Now talk about your warranty, because I think this is a perfect time to talk about OSEA's warranty and what you want to give people and your strong belief in that.
Sure. So when I started Corvus back in 2009, nobody used batteries for anything in the marine industry. No kind of boat, nothing had batteries of any significant size on board. And to make it easier for people to adopt, we learned really quickly that nobody wanted to buy a battery. They wanted to buy a system. And for a system to have any value, it had to be fully integrated in design, and we had to test it first. So we had to be the test pilots for our customers. Then came the element of, well, why should I commit to this crazy technology with you guys? How are you going to support us? So what we do is we work with our suppliers, because we're not the sole supplier of anything. We're technology agnostic, if you want, and we look for the best technology for each application now. But we went to all of our suppliers and said, listen, we're trying to do something that nobody's done before in a market that's never accepted anything new. We have to support the customers in a way that gives them the confidence to turn the key and go. So both in my battery companies and with OSEA, we support the product with a 10-year, 100% replacement warranty. Doesn't matter what the component is, whether that's a Kohler generator or a Northern Lights generator or anybody's parts or pieces, we'll augment their warranty to that 10-year replacement, because that's what we think has got to be our commitment to your project in order to make you feel comfortable that you're not taking on a huge amount of risk or liability, and that you have suppliers that are there for you at every level of how the system's installed.
That's well said. Now you see why, guys, we did our research, because we don't want to be stuck somewhere like Japan and going, things are crapping out. So that 10-year warranty was key for us. So this is good for you. Giorgio says it's a wonderful mid-30-degree day here in South Australia. Looks cold in Vancouver. Where are you going?
Hey, I'm heading for Perth tonight, so I'm looking forward to the weather.
So thank you very much for the weather report. He is flying to Perth tonight. Okay, let's go back here. If it was working, they
would be doing it on everything by now. They are doing it on a lot by now.
Well, yeah, no. Adoption takes a long time in the marine space.
Yes, because we still get people. And you know what, Tim? We totally respect your opinion. It sounds like a toy for the rich, and I guarantee you it's not going to help the environment. The proof is out there, though, about how does it help our environment. And the key there is with regards to how long the batteries last and how little fuel consumption we are using. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, we'll be showing it.
We have commercially reduced literally tons and tons and tons of CO2 in the environment today in commercial marine ships. It does make a difference.
I think the issue is, like you see in the news, it's like, oh, they have all these lithium batteries, right? They're all going to crap out. How do you recycle them? What do you use? They're just as bad for the environment when they die.
Well, that's not necessarily the case anymore either. So we recycle all of the lithium batteries that we support in the field, and we manage that recycling, certify that the recycling's been done. And today there's non-invasive methods of recycling lithium that allow you to rebring the core elements back to be reused again. So our commercial batteries are using a chemistry called NMC or LFPO. The NMC chemistry on a recycling level These cells can be used effectively over and over again to make new cells once they've been used. We're actually just right now doing what we call a cell swap on one of the biggest electric ferries in the world that we built back about 9 years ago. And so what we're doing is taking the batteries physically apart. So we're keeping all the core elements, taking the old lithium cell out, recycling it and putting a new lithium cell in, and then putting the original battery back on board the boat. So we're not building a whole new battery. We're only changing the cells. And then we are actually recycling the cells in a way that has no negative impact to the environment at all, and selling those materials back to the lithium cell manufacturers again to be used in new cells.
I bet you guys didn't know that they do that, because I didn't. I'm just learning something right now, which I really appreciate.
Yep. I'm happy to share anything about how that recycling works. It's actually an American company down in San Diego that invented that process that we use.
We'll have to do another article about that for you guys, for sure. Now, Giorgio says something really interesting. The more people who adopt the technology worldwide, the prices come down accordingly.
Yep.
You agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
It's about, sorry, I'm going back down, guys. Sorry. Blaine, are you selling the Cummins?
Yes, we will be selling the Cummins. They will probably be more marketed toward the truck guys, because as you guys know, mine are very custom and have a lot of things going on them that is not typical. And I think that would probably be unfair to put that onto someone else that doesn't know exactly what's going on with it. For a truck motor, they are phenomenal. They've got upgraded pistons, injectors, head studs, O-ring cylinders. They're a good engine for that, and they will do that all day long. But unless you're up with what I'm doing on a boat, it's not going to be good for anybody.
Well, then it's good for Paul, because Paul says, Paul McCracken, as a fellow gearhead of boats and vehicles, I think it's an awesome way to go, especially in y'all's boat. Makes sense that y'all are doing with your boat. Also, as a boat gearhead, damn.
I would love to have comments for my boat.
Blaine. So Blaine's from Louisiana. You need to read this with your Louisiana accent, because I just can't do it.
I'll do my best. It's been a while. As a fellow gearhead of boats and vehicles, I think it's an awesome way to go, especially on y'all's boat. Makes sense for what y'all are doing in your boat. Also, as a boat gearhead, damn, I would love to have them Cummins for my boat, which has twin 93 Ford 351 Windsor Lightning engines with Paxton huffers. Yes, it does the top water dance quite nicely. And no, don't watch the fuel gauge. You'll get depressed fast.
So when we go down to visit Louisiana or Tennessee to see his parents, you should hear his accent come out. It's a hilarious thing. It does come out. So Paul, thank you so much for taking the time for the comment. Made us laugh. Croker, go with the same generators is way easier to keep track of for the same than two different machines, especially for parts and spare parts. What do you guys think about that?
That is something that we've considered for sure.
Pretty compelling.
Yeah, we started off at a split generator sizing. And the more I got to thinking about it, I started thinking about spare parts that I had to keep on board, and having four of the same size, that cuts my spare parts requirement in half.
This is a great comment. First of all, I love your name. WTF, WTF, WTF. Really looking forward to this build. You have made 2026 a much better place to be. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
We hope to really be a part of your watch, because this is going to be quite a build. And why we're doing it in real time is because you say why you like to do this build in real time, because you commented about how with another build that's going on right now, we won't say names, that you offered some advice.
I love YouTube boaters, and I follow a lot of channels. And what drives me nuts is when people ask you for comments or show you something and want comments, that by the time you comment, they're 3 months past making the decision and doing it. And it just feels like they're kind of bait and switching you to follow the channel. And I don't like that at all. So when these guys told me they were doing this live, I thought this is going to be the coolest thing on the planet. And it does allow all of you to really get ownership of this process, of the whole design and the execution and the build. And that's just so much fun.
I think it's going to be amazing. Let me go down here. Fred Stevens, thank you so much, by the way, for helping make this build. So again, this build is crowdfunded. We are going to do 3 videos a week and 1 live. The live is going to be key, because we're going to say what we did the week, but we need your input on the live because you're going to know what we have to go into next week. Okay.
We've got some pretty bright minds on this project, but we can't think of everything. So there are going to be you guys out there that may have some experience in different areas that could have some valuable input, and we're going to appreciate that.
And again, go to our website to check out the Wall of Power. Okay.
All right, back to
Do you like that?
the fun.
Oh, thank you, Menace Society. He just became a Bosun member.
Nice.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Our members, you guys are going to get so much tech stuff and be able to answer questions. It's going to be awesome. You can also get a hold of us on Discord.
It's like a traction motor on a hybrid truck.
Is that where I was?
I thought we were a little bit above that.
Batteries. Let's go to this one, and then I'll go back up. Can I repower my Bayliner model 1952 Capri inboard?
Absolutely.
Yep, can do.
This is where we are. What about solar panels? Tell again, because some people are just popping on. What's the plan with solar panels?
As much as we can fit, and then some. We are going to fill up the entire upper deck wherever we can, and then I'm hoping to probably have some sort of mechanical wings that will come out to extend solar panels off the side of the boat to increase capacity.
Those wings will not be happening in the next 5 months, though.
No.
And the one rule is he is not allowed to encroach on my hammock space.
Yes, I've got to leave room for Janice's enjoyment, unless she can walk on them.
Ooh, let's think about that.
Yep.
We talked about the current
So,
motors.
can you use the current motors?
We talked
Scroll
about
up. No, scroll up.
Is there
okay,
anything
I'll
new
see if I
happening in
can-
the PV space?
You
I don't know what
anything?
PV is.
Photovoltaic.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a lot of technologies that were developed in the last 15 years that are finally coming to sort of commercial application where you're increasing the density of the unique cells with solar. So we've seen a huge increase. On my case, my original solar panels were 160 watts altogether. I've replaced them with same size panels that are now 1.1 kilowatt. And you're going to see that go up again about another 50% in the next 2 years.
Maybe we'll wait.
5432, Dan Fox says, hey, do the electric motors do double duty as charging generators?
They can. Unfortunately, we're not a sailboat yet, so we can't use them for regen. Although, if you mean motors and generators in a general sense, yes, they are practically the same thing. Just one gets used for regen and one is used for propulsion.
Yeah. It's not very efficient to drag a prop if you needed the charging in this case. That's a different propeller entirely that's for that design. One of the reasons that my own propeller is getting changed back out is because it's not producing enough regen for me. But if you want propulsion forward and propulsion back, regen may be sacrificed, or you may have to compromise your performance somehow to make it work.
He also has another great question. Okay. Dan says, if the motors are gen sets, is there a clutch between the motors and the props?
Between the e-motors and the props? No.
No.
You try and avoid transmissions, clutches, anything you can to just keep the simple stupid. And so this system is designed to basically have the e-motors running at the same shaft speed that the vessel needs. And that is going to allow us a little more space. And it also means the maintenance and service is a little bit easier. We may end up with a pillow block structure to dampen thrust loads, but that would be about it. And we'll really try and compensate that in the mounting of the e-motors instead to allow that mounts to absorb the thrust that they're going to see.
Yeah. And the least we have between the motors and the shafts, the better efficiency we're going to get out of it.
Much better, yeah.
Now, again, Nate Stiles says, how do the electric propulsion motors and hybrid system architecture offset the efficiency losses associated with converting diesel engine mechanical power into electrical energy?
That's probably one of the most popular questions.
That is a great question.
So if you think about it and how efficient is a diesel engine, when you're running the batteries to the e-motor, you're dealing with a highly efficient package from an electrical point of view. Your batteries are extraordinarily efficient themselves. They're running about 99% efficient in terms of conversion of their energy down to what they're going to put at the shaft of the boat. The e-motors themselves are tremendously efficient in terms of converting power to actually brake horsepower. You are still dealing with the efficiency of your diesel engine in terms of charging the batteries, but the delta is a lot less significant. I wouldn't say less, but less significant than you would think in terms of practical use. So when we took Karma's data using our typical 100 horse diesel engine to propulse the boat, we only lost about 4% or 5% in true conversion, but we gained so much more efficiency in fuel by using a smaller generator platform to replace the propulsion energy that we are using on the boat. So to give you some specific terms here, in this case, we only need about 50 kilowatts of energy to push this boat at cruising speed. Now, when you think that right now it has a pair of 250 horse engines in it, that's what Blaine addressed earlier in terms of he's only using 10 or 20% of the current motor platform to deliver. And that by and large uses significantly more fuel to produce a kilowatt hour of energy because you're wasting some of that fuel. And so if you size your system for the power that you're going to use, by and large, you end up with a more efficient system than what you would have had with a large scale diesel regardless. On our big commercial boats, we see an average improvement in a serial hybrid from an efficiency point of view of about 30%. And that's hundreds of installations in data showing us that, because we're now using the specific amount of energy to use for propulsion or charging that we need, instead of having just a large amount of energy that's not being used very efficiently to produce power at both ends of the spectrum.
And that just takes the engine into account. There's also the transmission losses as well. So I would imagine probably somewhere between 8 and 10% for a transmission.
Depends on the hydraulic or mechanical transmission, yeah.
Now, Build Your Water. Oh, by the way, guys, these are great questions. Thank you. We've got lots of new names here, that I haven't recognized on our lives before.
Nope.
Build Your Water. Is the battery bank used as an energy surge tank to absorb the surplus the generators produce, or do they supplement the generator during a passage?
Both. So when you're charging, you're going to get the battery to 95% state of charge, maybe 96% state of charge. But then what you're going to do is turn the generators off or reduce the number of generators that you have so that the through power matches what your generators are, or you're just going to travel electrically. And then because then you only use the generators at one rate of power pretty much all the time. And that is their most efficient power output. That is their most efficient development of emissions. It's the best place to run them all the time because it does less wear and tear on them as well, because you're just not asking variable speed. You're asking constant speed all the time. So it is the batteries do both things. When you're at anchor, they are just delivering energy over time to give you a quiet, absolutely pleasant use of your vessel for days and days and days. When you're charging, you can charge them in a couple of hours with the 200 kilowatt capacity we have on the generators and a 300 kilowatt hour battery. You're going to literally have about an hour and a half of charge time from near empty to full. So you don't have to run the generators for very long, and you are running them as efficient as they can be run.
That's a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning so much on this. BMX says, is like a traction motor on a hybrid truck?
Yep. I mean, the traction motors are traction motors. They're built differently for different things, but
yep. Similar low RPM kind of product that way.
Yep.
And Slap Happy, thank you so much. You guys are great. Do what you want and live your best life. The more that you can do to be off grid makes you just that much better. Yes, it does. I agree. Thank you so much. We make candy cane hot chocolate. What? You guys need to make some candy cane hot chocolate for Brent and yourselves. Tim sells the mix. We're on it.
yes.
Sorry, SVT Mob, do we do custom merch? Oh, that's awesome. Maybe we'll chat. I do our merch already. We do have a merch line. You can look on Onboard Tangaroa. They're crew shirts. They have our logo. And just like all of ours, they have the outline of the boat on the back. And if you're a member of our online crew, you actually have shirts that depends on your tier. Some say bosun, some say first mate, some say engineer, or you can get gear that just says crew on it, and only our members can get that merch.
Will we get his pod drives? No.
No,
Not this time
no pod
around.
drives. Giorgio says, I understand the history of what Brent is bringing to the table. However, as and if problems arise, will SIA be there to support and potentially help with rectification of any issues?
Yeah, we have a global network of service guys that have worked for me for upwards of 20 years now. So we do have a really, really well-developed group of people that support the product all the time.
Yeah, this isn't just a brand new company with no connections out there. Brent knows the world of this electrification.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense? What is the average runtime generators versus battery when cruising?
If you're going distance, if you're traveling at cruising speed, you're going to run your generators probably 100% of the time until you land, but your batteries will always be full. You're literally just passing power through the batteries to the e-motors. When you're at anchor or stationary or short trips, that's when the true difference on the serial hybrid comes out, because you have a battery capacity to stay offline for 4 or 5 days, and then your charge time is very short. So you are going to charge them in an hour and a half or so, and then you can be offline again for another 4 or 5 days. So the serial hybrids, the benefit of them while you're cruising or traveling distance is, again, you're only using the energy required from the generators to match your propulsion. So instead of running 200 kilowatts and taking 20% efficiency out of it, we're only running a 50 kilowatt platform and taking 90% efficiency out of it. And that's much lower fuel consumption, much less emissions, much less work on all the machinery and equipment. So you end up effectively with 4 times more efficiency and less service costs than you would if you just put in a single or 2 platforms that we have right now.
Now, I'm going to warn you guys, we are only going to go for another half hour. The 3 of us were at the Vancouver International Boat Show, and we're tired. We are going to go live every Monday. Maybe Brent will be there on some of them and some not, talking about what we're doing. So we may not get through all your questions. We're really trying. Maybe at the end, I can put the questions there and Blaine can write them out, or do a video answering the rest of the questions. But we'll do that tomorrow. So let's see what we can do for the next half hour, and then we're going to have to call it. Also, because we haven't eaten.
That one from Joe is good.
I really like this one. What would a lightning strike cause? Would a lightning strike cause a catastrophic failure?
It can. The lightning safety, if you want, it's a really, really difficult thing to engineer, because lightning has no specific effect. It can have a massive effect or very little effect. We put in a large lightning plate in Karma. That vessel's been hit twice, not with me, but in both cases survived. We also have to incorporate things like a Faraday cage and carry spare PC boards to be able to reproduce some of the parts that could be affected by lightning. But bonding and lightning protection are going to be a big part of what we're looking at here in the next month on the design side, because we have to do everything we can to protect the digital boat.
Giorgio has a good question. So do we need to understand the hull speed and prop pitch, etc., to size the electric motors?
Yes.
Blaine loves analyzing that. He is all about prop curves. Trust me. He shows me enough prop curve graphs.
Yep. But then that's even a different prop curve.
Again, are we using air-cooled diesel engines?
No. Not water-cooled.
Ignacio says hi from Ecuador. That's a long time away. Long way. Gary. So Gary is my brother from another mother. Seriously, I grew up with Gary. He asks, I recognize that lithium batteries have become very safe. However, will they need a different suppression system in the case of fire?
Yes. I think we went into it a bit.
Yeah, we did go into this a little bit. We are definitely going to put in a new fire system. There will be no fricasseed Blaine and Janice and Izzy.
Flambéed.
Flambéed. Croker says, yep, that's how the equipment in the quarry is set up, and it runs at a specific power rating, and it's at its peak efficiency all day long. That's the quarry he works in.
Makes sense.
Blaine, you want to answer this again briefly? Because some people are new onto the live. Hi, y'all. We need to add ballast weight.
Shouldn't. This is actually kind of putting us back to where we were before with the Detroit diesel. So we're kind of going to be right around that same area. And the boat's not got a lot of height. It doesn't have a lot of weight up top. So she's pretty stable. And we've got stabilizers.
That don't work, but they will work eventually. Versinger Tricks, are you talking with Bray Yacht Design about bulbous bow in the quest for efficiency?
I have done a lot of
Interesting.
reading on bulbous bows, and I appreciate the benefits of them. However, from what I can gather, our speed ranges are not ideal for best effect of a bulbous bow. Brent, I don't know if I'm incorrect on that or not. You may have a better idea.
I built a few boats with bulbous bows in the trawler style at Northern Marine, and we did a Steve Seaton design at Waterline with a bulbous bow. It did make a difference, even at sort of medium speed. They definitely work better when you're doing 18 or 20 knots. But they do extend your artificial water line and improve your efficiency even at 8 or 10 knots. But it's also potential kelp catcher and place for seals to hang out all the time. So it's up to you.
I never thought about the seals.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
They love that stuff.
On freighters, you'll see them on the rudders and on the bows whenever they're empty.
Wow.
Yeah.
FOMO says, can you please discuss if they're Azipod and what e-motors exactly? Do we know exactly what e-motors we're using yet?
They're not isopods, and we're still working on the motors.
We'll do a product reveal on specific manufacturers after we've done the company audits. So part of our process, guys, just to give you an insight into how OSEA works, and Blaine's graciously agreed to come along for the ride on this.
Oh, twist my rubber arm.
When we investigate a technology, we apply what I call use criteria. Is it fit for purpose for what we're doing? And when we do that, we have to go into the company itself. We typically investigate their manufacturing, their design, their engineering, their quality control processes, and also their capability to service and support the product that we're going to do. Because in a weird way, it's an OSEA project, but I'm at the mercy of all of our suppliers. Mm-hmm. So we have to make sure those suppliers are matched DNA with what this vessel is going to do. And in order to do that, you can't talk to them or hope to read it. You have to go and see them. So we'll be auditing suppliers and meeting experts in the field who do specific things. And then what we do as boat builders is combine that data into a selection that gives you the best balanced package overall. So that's how we're going to work. And Blaine's going to come along for the ride, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Izzy too.
And Izzy. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to reveal the parts once everything's been evaluated and it's the right choice for the project.
Now, again, we're doing 3 videos a week. So you are going to be in the decision making and at these companies with us. So just like you're there, and we're going to try and paint the picture of exactly what's happening for you. Izzy is going because Izzy is now our videographer. So when you see, she doesn't want to be in front of the camera, but she's going to be behind the camera all the time now. She needs a job. She's a mooch. Desert Vet. So question for you guys. You've decided to go hybrid electric drives, which is kind of cool. Are you going to incorporate the azimuth drives like Blaine has been drooling over since the start?
No. Short answer, no. Long answer, no.
No. Steve says hi from Detroit. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Blue Diva, I just like the comment. It's great. So happy for you both. I'm sure this new project will bring fantastic efficiency and help to make Tangaroa even more special for your future adventures. Made even sweeter by helping the R&D of new tech. Yes, we want to show the world that... Uh-oh, Blaine.
Oh, are we out of...
We're unfocused.
We're unfocused. Why are we unfocused?
What did you bump?
I didn't bump anything.
Fix it.
Come on.
Fix it.
Okay, I'll get up and fix it.
Sorry, guys. You got unfocused there. Take us a moment.
You can keep going with the questions.
Oh, now we're really unfocused. Now it moved the whole camera.
Yeah, you can keep going with the questions.
Okay, still going. And again, with OSEA, is this a new company? Do they offer drop-in solutions for serial hybrid systems? I've only heard of Beta Marine Systems.
Well, OSEA for this market is a new division of our company, if you want, and we've been involved in doing this since about 2009, and doing this kind of work on vessels and designing and building boats since about 1992. So it's a company that's been special built for this market and these applications, and it's taking the best of all of our commercial and boat building experience and condensing it into a company that's completely focused on serial hybrid or hybrid electric applications.
So like we said, Brent does not just talk, he walks the walk. His boat is serial hybrid electric conversion, and now he's proven it on a sailboat, and we'll do an article about that, and now we're going to prove that can be done on a power boat, which is quite exciting. Twisted Tree Road says, can you share a BSFC chart that shows where these fuel savings come from? The curves I have seen for a modern engine are nearly flat, so no savings with different loading.
Yeah, we will be doing, I think, a couple of episodes for people who want more technical data, case study example of how we calculate fuel consumption, efficiency, range, everything. It's just too much to go into, and would put everybody to sleep here.
And then specifically, I do have plots of our engines that we have on board right now that we can share during those as well, just to give you guys of how far out we actually are with even good setups like this.
William has a good question. How many times bigger than a Tesla car battery is Tangaroa going to have? How many Teslas?
3.
3 Teslas worth of batteries?
That's a few Teslas.
That's a few Teslas. Also, like you said, will this refit address the stabilizers?
That's actually a really good question.
I never thought of a Tesla as a verb.
Did I just make it a verb?
You did.
We're Tesla-ized.
Yep.
I know.
As for the stabilizers, they are getting done on this trip. One of the main reasons why they haven't been yet is because this has all kind of been in the works. And I don't have the hydraulics complete on the system. So rather than me waste a lot of time and money getting the hydraulics all set up based on the mechanical engines, we waited until this happened. So now we have to make a decision on how that's going to happen. But at the very least, it'll be an electro-hydraulic setup, and we'll have you guys follow along with that too.
Yeah, we've got about 20 more minutes, guys, to go here. So, Rick, will you be doing thrusters as well? We don't need them.
No thrusters. Don't get me wrong. Be super nice to just be able to play around with that, but we don't really need them. I've never found myself in a position where I was desperate to get myself into the dock with a thruster.
No, as soon as
always managed just fine.
Yeah, as soon as we get our aft spring line on, we're golden. And again, we don't go faster than we're willing to hit something with. So, and we don't go to the dock very much.
We haven't hit anything.
No, we don't go to the dock very much. Scott wants to say, you know what? You pulled a lot of through hulls for the last new motors, as they were not raw water. Does that mean more holes or a bigger sea chest to feed the gensets?
Actually, there are several holes still there on the boat. I've got multiple unused seacocks and through hulls. I am debating doing a sea chest setup. I'll have to discuss that with Brent and see if that's a worthwhile option, because we do have 2 big honking feeds for the old Detroits that would easily feed enough water for all the systems on the boat. So that might be something we'll look into, and if that's the case, I will probably delete all of the other through hulls.
And that's the joy of being aluminum. You just cut a plate and throw it in, and then Janice fixes it with paint.
Done.
Are we getting rid of the big exhaust holes we carved in?
Probably.
Burdette wants to know if we're still thinking about a kite.
Yep. 100%.
Brent's like, you guys are crazy.
Kites are cool.
Kites are cool.
Yep.
You've done kites before, haven't you?
I have not done them, but I work with. So one of my other things, guys, is I have I founded a group called ZESTA, Zero Emission Ship Technology Association, and we're advisors for the IMO on commercial legislation, design, and technology for reduced emissions, in big words. But there is a company that's a member of Zestas that is a kite company, and is deploying them on freighters. And it makes about a 7 to 8% difference in the fuel consumption of a ship going across the Atlantic right now. And it is deployed working technology. So it's coming to ships like this all the time.
It's going to be so cool. The great question for you, Brent. Is this available to consumers yet, or are you still experimenting?
Well, sure. But at this stage, it's not what I call a drop-in solution, because for this to make sense for anybody in the space, it has to address their vessel's performance and needs pretty specifically. And right now that takes a fair bit of work. So we don't just offer this as a box that you can buy. We spend considerable amount of time with our clients making sure we understand how we can best address their needs, whether it's a serial hybrid, a parallel hybrid, a fully electric boat, whatever the application may be. We focus on making it the best it can be right now.
Go the next one up. Keel cooled. That's a question.
Don't interrupt me. You know how I'm doing this.
But you went to the next one.
I know I did. I was going to answer Joe specifically, but later. It's okay. Are we going keel cooled?
Plain decision.
I mean, I like the idea of keel cooling. I really do. It simplifies a lot of things. A lot of moving parts get gone with that. However, there are other issues you have to deal with. Fouling on the keel coolers, really challenging to clean them, short of coming out of the water. And that's the main ones. And they're, up here we get tons of logs and all sorts of other debris in the water. And that's a delicate portion that's sitting under the water, available to be hit.
I don't think I've shared with you the propeller. When we pulled out this time, we hit a log. I did bend.
I mean, the beauty of the keel coolers is, say, for example, you do hit a log and you do pierce one and salt water gets in there, it's not going to immediately cause a failure. So you can keep running with the engine until it can be repaired. However, there are several potentials for not so good things. So it's a really tough call between an impeller style and a keel cooler.
Now, this is a huge question, Blaine, because you spent so much time on your Morse controllers. Do you get to keep your converted helm control heads?
Sure.
He said yes. You guys witnessed it. He said yes. I've told people I love my Morse shifters. I know they're old school, but I love the feel of them. I would love to be able to keep those.
Yeah, we can mount the rotary controller on them that will convert the controls at the engine for sure.
They're already converted, right?
For electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
Yay! Are the different battery cells isolated so that if, God forbid, you have a runaway?
The cells are cooled. They're isolated via separator plates. The current design, and we'll be using what's called a type-approved battery system on board. So that means it's gone to a commercial level of engineering validation. And in type approval, think DNV, ABS, Lloyd's, companies like that. There's two levels of type approval. One of them is propagation within a battery. So you could have one battery that has to be able to contain a fire within itself, or you have propagation at the cell level. Propagation at the cell level is more challenging to do. We do it with our shift batteries. A lot of companies can do a reasonable job of it with the individual cells, but to be determined finally where we get there. But at the very worst, the risk would be that a single battery module would be able to catch fire and burn itself out. And the firefighting is going to be designed around whichever we have. In the best case, there is management of cell failure at the individual cell level, but it's a slightly different battery, a little heavier. You have to have a more thorough cooling system if you want to prevent that temperature from going to thermal runaway.
Good to know.
And for both of you, how does the power curve compare to the typical marine ICE diesel engine?
It's a little bit different in that the true energy curve is like a bell that rises slowly to start with and then literally will turn straight up. In the case of this vessel, the difference between 8.5, 9 knots to max hull speed is about 4 times the amount of energy required. So that curve, if you want, jumps up exponentially after that 9 knot number and grows pretty significantly into a very steep curve where you have to deliver a lot of power. So how that compares to an ice engine kind of depends on the ice engine, but ice engines tend to have a small rise, typically a flat line, and then a big rise. So it's a little more uniform than that, but not that far off, frankly.
So we're going to do 5 more questions, okay? I'm sorry if we don't get through them all. We're going to try. Actually, we're not going to get through them all, but we really appreciate all the questions. So this is the first one from 54321 Dan Fox. With the propulsion batteries at 800 volt, what will the house power system look like? Any 120 VAC? Is there such a thing as an 880 volt inverter?
Yes. There. I guess yes to everything there. We are still going to have all the standard power that we have on board right now, which is 120, 240, 12 volt, 24 volt. We just have to change inverters, and they do make anywhere 400, 800 volt inverters that you can get that will convert to whatever you want. So,
yep.
Yes.
Good question. And now from Rob, regarding batteries, do you favor more individually lower capacity cells or fewer higher capacity cells, given the trend towards higher density cells being developed for home, solar, etc.?
Interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I would tell you the batteries have to be fit for purpose. So when you're dealing with conventional lithium batteries, these are what we call energy batteries. So they're designed for lower discharge rates than a power battery. A power battery is designed for propulsion applications. And here we're going to be going with a hybrid chemistry and a hybrid cell technology that's designed to be able to deliver C, or high power, but operate really efficiently at mid to low range C as well. So when you think about it, it's a 300 kilowatt hour battery pack. Most of its life, it's going to be running at about 1/6 C, or 50 kilowatts. So it's not really, it's an energy application there. But if you're pushing up against odds and arrows or doing something where you're pushing a lot of current and you need hull speed, you're going to approach basically a 0.6 or a 0.7 C. So using a 1C battery gives us a lot of flexibility to never exceed the battery's performance capabilities, but still be pretty efficient at low C rates if you want. Not sure if I answered that question.
I think you did.
But
yeah.
Sorry.
Anything you want to add?
Nope.
Okay. Shredding says, how many hours will the 240 kilowatt pack run the e-motors at cruise speed?
You have, with this vessel, you'll have roughly at cruising speed 5 to 5.5 hours of runtime. So think roughly 45 miles, nautical miles.
Yep. And that rises drastically at lower speeds.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have 2 more questions. However, remember I asked about we needed names for an operation.
Mm-hmm.
So let's think of the ones we've got. So Benita says Operation Sparky, Benita and Tillman. We've got Operation Electrify, Operation Cussler, Project Vision, Energia, Operation Neptune, Project Electron, Project Blue Book. What about Circuit Board Tangaroa, Project Electron, Operation Energize, Operation Sushi Run Prep? There's some great answers here. Another hole in my boat, dear Blaine.
Oh, somebody remembered.
Yep. Operation Silent Running, Operation Lightning Volt, Motor in Electric. You should name your boat the Electric Eel. Again, Project Silent Running. Oh, Tangaroa. I don't even know how to say that. Tangaroa.
Tangaroa? That's not bad.
Operation Powerboat. Project Zeus. Scoom Silence. Oh, there's so many great. Revolting.
That's pretty funny.
Okay.
That was actually pretty funny when we had an old Porsche 928 we swapped a 5-liter Coyote motor into, and the Porsche 928s are not super pretty Porsches. They're a little bit, so we called it Coyote Ugly. Was the name
She
of that
was not a
project.
pretty car.
So
Yeah.
it's all about the name of the project.
Operation Charger Up, baby. Operation Silence. There's some good stuff. Crispy Bacon. Oh, Project Energizer Bunny. Yeah, see, we talked about that. Adrift in the ether is here. Hi. Whew, Project Silence Project. Okay, we're going to have to go through all these guys, and I will tell you by the end what we choose, if we choose any of them.
That's a good one right there.
Which one?
WJS0224. Do you have to worry?
That's a great question, actually. Sorry, I missed it. Do you
And
have
this
to worry
is-
more about stray voltages and electrolysis, especially when you guys probably saw what happened with Gone with the Winds and HH catamarans? So, great question.
Yes. So you have to go down the road of isolating different voltage systems from each other as much as possible, and avoiding what we call a charge ripple onto the batteries at all costs. You approach isolation like there's so many guys out there who are probably marine electricians and better qualified than me to answer that question. But isolation is critical path to protecting a system from stray currents or stray voltages. So yes, we will be putting a lot of effort and energy and bringing some of the best people in the world on board to have that discussion.
We will not have happened to this boat what happened with.
No.
Yeah.
The winds.
Yeah. We know what happened there, and we've studied the videos, and yeah.
The key, guys, in every element of a system of a boat is to address the execution for your toaster as seriously as you address the execution for your propulsion system. A well-wired boat doesn't need to apologize to anybody for anything. A haphazardly wired boat is just going to dissolve.
So we've got one more question that we're going to find, guys. We're going to go through these. I do like Operation Electric Hamster. I'm still into Operation Guinea Pig because that's basically what we're going to be for OSEA. Operation Squeal Ill, Operation Guinea Pig. I like it. With the hamster wheel as a logo. Okay, let's look through questions, guys. Does everybody read them?
Can't at all. No.
Okay. Operation Sea Guardian. That's a good one. Nice too. Project Ohm. Project H-Ohm.
How about Project, oh my God, OHM, my God.
That's kind of funny too. Operation Megawatt. I know I did. What do you think of generating electricity using a boat? Okay, let's do this one. This is
I
interesting.
think we went into it a little bit.
Okay, we might have another one then after that, after I go through them. Question for Brent. What do you think of generating electricity using the props like they do in hybrid trimaran and catamarans, like the Ocean Volt and Sailing La Vagabond? And I think Sailing Uma has just put in 2 Ocean Volt propellers.
Specifically for extra regen.
Can we do regen?
We can do regen. What we discovered, though, again,
But wait, we don't sail.
I'll only speak to you in this regard to my actual hard experience. And on Karma, we designed that system with the expectation of being able to achieve really good regen while we were sailing. I've been disappointed by the amount of energy we've recovered at the propeller, but I don't blame the system for that. I blame my choice of propeller design for that. So we're going to experiment with a couple of different wheels to look for the more efficient platform that we can. But when you're dealing with a shaft-driven propeller versus a leg-mounted propeller, it's a different element of efficiency because it takes a lot more energy to turn a shaft than it does to just turn a propeller at the base of a leg. Then there's also shaft generators that you can add to the shafts themselves, which to a certain degree can be used to recover energy as well. We do those on large commercial ships. But it's still a bit of a mystery science as to how to get the best regen out of a propeller.
Fortunately, we don't really have to worry about that.
And the last question we're doing tonight is from Bankrupt, and that's Lawson. And I want to know this too. Are you going to add reverse cycle air conditioners or perhaps heat recovery from the generator cooling systems for free cabin heat?
Oh, why not?
Mm-hmm. It's free energy. Well, not free energy.
I don't even know if we can do that.
Would normally
but
have been wasted energy.
it's intriguing.
Yes,
oh
we
yeah,
can
absolutely,
do
you can do that.
Yeah.
We do that on Karma, and it works really, really, really well.
That'll plumb right into our hydronic system.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for all the questions. Again, 3 videos a week starting this week. Our first one is coming Wednesday, and it's Blaine ripping out the generator.
And there's going to be a live like this every Monday,
Every
too.
Monday except February 16th.
Brent may not always be here, so you guys
No.
will be stuck with me. But
bring your questions.
Better looking anyway.
I don't know. You two are doing pretty well here. So bring your questions to every live. This is really going to be a project involving all of you. Okay, we really want to do this in real time. So any ideas you have, we can listen to them. We may not incorporate them all. Trust me, there is decisions being made behind the backgrounds too, but we love the input. And we have made decisions based on your input about things. I still like, you know what the question there was there? It was Operation Electric Guinea Pig. Who said that? It was really good. I'll go back through it. It was really good. Again, check out our wall of power. OSEA is not paying for everything. We are using our own money. This is a different agreement. We are actually believe in this system so much. We believe in OSEA and what OSEA is doing. We are partnering with them. So you won't see us do very many sponsorships. We are now OSEA's Operation Electric Guinea Pig. Okay, so we're partnering with the company, marketing and helping them with their research development and showing you what OSEA can do by putting our home up first.
And for us, that was really important because we wanted them to maintain their integrity, be able to choose a system, buy what they want, but do it for the right reasons, not do it because you're being given a system for free. So we wouldn't give it to them for free. But we did commit ourselves to being the best partners we possibly can be in development and design and practical execution of this system.
So again, this is crowdfunded. Join our online crew because it's going to be really cool. Be part of the Wall of Power and have your name in the engine room. And let's give out some memberships now. Forever. So what we did prior to this, and Blaine, you're going to have to talk about this. What numbers? Izzy picked these numbers. Write them down.
These were
and I'm going to go back up here.
These were random Izzy generated numbers.
Before this all started.
Yes.
I have to go right to the top of the comments because what we do is we pick the numbers, 3 numbers, and we go down, and that number of comment is the one that wins the prize.
And this is going to be really fun because last time Janice made me count them. And I don't know if she realized how much of a nightmare it was. So
this is a nightmare.
So
I'm not counting our own, by the way.
So the very first one here.
You can announce, keep going. I'm counting.
The numbers, the actual
We can
numbers.
say what number.
So number 14.
Because I've got to count.
And you guys are going to probably see different comments than we're seeing. But number 14, I believe, is that one correct?
Yeah.
Okay, was Liam Greenwood. You were the number 14 comment.
So Liam, tell him what he's getting and all the perks.
You are getting a 6-month free membership to our Patreon.
As a deckhand. So he gets a mug.
And get a mug with that. Congratulations.
I know.
It comes in the mail. Oh. We do have one here, though, I think. Do we have
No,
one?
I got rid of it.
Oh, Shannon's got rid of it. It's a shame. They're really big.
I know. Okay, what was the number?
92 is the next one.
Okay, hold on.
Be patient with us, guys. A lot of counting needs to happen.
This is way harder than designing a system.
How fast can you count? Anyway, today, guys, I spent a lot of time tearing stuff apart, pulling out transformers on the boat, starting to disassemble generators, getting all the extra stuff that doesn't need to be in the engine room out of the engine room so we have room to work. Set up a time-lapse camera as well because we figured that would be some pretty cool footage to watch people zip around and take stuff out and put stuff in. Janice has got the next one here.
Write it down.
Number 92 is Rick Dunner 5181.
I will send you an invite, you guys.
And you are also getting a 6-month membership and a free coffee mug.
I feel like I'm on a CBC show.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah, so we ended up picking up a 10-foot container that we have parked right behind the boat now. So basically everything on board is getting kind of stuffed into there. Once we have everything built out, which will include lots of stuff like tool storage, workbench maybe, we'll see. Depends on how much room Brent leaves me.
This one.
Okay, the next one is Fama 87. Janice, you want to talk about, because that's the last one.
Yes.
That's-
Can you guys, the three of you, please email me at crew@onboardtangaroa. I'm going to put it up as a banner right now on the bottom because I need your emails. So say the three of them, please, again, Blaine.
It's Liam Greenwood,
Okay.
Rick Dunner 4161, I think, and Fama 87. Get in touch with us.
Yeah.
we can get
So
you guys
email
sorted
your
out.
email there and we will send you memberships. Again, thank you so much. What were you saying?
For everybody. Oh, I was just talking about what we had going on the boat currently.
I know we've got lots of really cool stuff, but I am editing the video for Wednesday right now. I think we tuckered up Brent. I think this is your first real live, eh?
It is
Isn't it how crazy it goes?
totally crazy.
I know. It's just like because your minds are going because you don't know the questions that are coming at you. So it's been absolutely amazing. Anything you want to say about last words?
Thanks. Really nice to meet all of you.
And if you guys are worried about us, Google Brent Perry.
Yes.
Okay, that's what we did. So do some research. Look at Osea Yachts or oseaboats.com. Please join their newsletter. It's really cool. And please check out our new website for the information about Osea, this whole project, and
Thank you so much.
Project Electric Guinea Pig? Operation
We'll
Electric
see what
Guinea
keeps
Pig?
rolling in, but yeah, that
I
sounds
think you
pretty
gotta
awesome.
throw a little bit of scotch at that one.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
it's pretty good. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. We will see you on Wednesday. And again, I will schedule the live for every Monday.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Nice to meet all of you. Thanks.